I think maybe some of you are not still well versed with Somali language. And if I start speaking Somali and there'll be translation, I think what will happen is you'll stay here at 10 o'clock. So what I'm going to do, inshallah, what I have been asked is some social issue, which is a marriage, children. And I'm not sure how many of you guys are on my left. If you can help me, if you can raise your hand, how many of you are married here anyway? You raise your hand anyway, don't worry. If you are not married, I have no problem. So there are all the guys like me, right? 3 people here. No problem. Because I don't have to talk about something that you do not need really. How many of you girls, sisters here, how many of you are married have children? Children. Because I have to talk about children. I don't have a lot of children here. I have a lot of people are married here. So what's the point of talking about these children and marriage and all those things? If the guys here are not married, if the sisters are not married, I think maybe you have better thing here to do, which is how we can get these guys from here or something. so maybe that maybe makes more sense, right? Right? So inshallah, I'm telling you one thing. So don't worry. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Sometimes you don't have to talk because you have to talk, right? I think you get enough knowledge from this conference today. Yeah, you take Imam thing, you hear some English lectures, you hear some Somali English. I think you take a lot of things, and it's at a late time. And if I start this project, which is about talking about children, how to raise, and problems when the people divorce, the problems that they get, I think it's going to be long. So I'm going to, inshallah, share you 3 small stories relating with this topic. And maybe I will take one more principle from that, and inshallah I will end. I'm not going to take more than 7-6 minutes, okay? So you can go home, right? So number 1, there's a guy, he came from Middle East. He settled in the state. This guy, he was a rich man. And these are all true story. I don't tell fictitious story. This is true story. So this man, he came from Middle East. He settled in the state, and has a big business. He has children, has a sister and brothers. Anyway, he has children. So this guy, he spent all his time, taking care of his business. He did not give some attention to his children. So what happened? He has a girl. When she went to university, because her dad did not give a lot of attention to her, right, and he did not raise properly, she hooked up with one guy. So she came to her dad one day. She said, "Dad, I have this guy with me." And the father, because I said, "No, wallahi, I won't agree with this guy." She said, "Why?" He said, "He has 3 reasons. Number 1, the guy is not Muslim." No, wallahi, he didn't say Muslim. He said, "This guy is older than you." And really, the guy was older than her, around 20 years. So she said, "Yeah, the age has no difference for me, right? I love the guy." So he said, "You love the guy?" Okay, listen, I'm telling you, wallahi, I'm the second guy. I'm narrating from this story from the Sheikh who witnessed this issue. And we are not telling from what country or where they came from, but we are talking about issues. So the guy, he said, "You don't get married because this guy is older than you." He said, "No, wait." She said, "I love him." And then he said, "Okay, you love him, right? No, this guy is a black guy." So you understand the girl is not black anyway, right? That's what you can understand from the story. He said, "Yeah, this is a black guy." So she said, "What's the problem, Abu, my dad?" Yeah, he said, "No, wallahi, yeah, there are differences between us and these guys." The third thing is the most important thing. He said, because the guy is not Islam Muslim. So I said, this one I have solution for, because the guy already went to the masjid and he became Muslim. So you see, the guy has 3 reasons. Not Muslim, older age, and she said, but the girl, she said, "I'm going to get married." So one day he made a decision. He said, "Wallahi, this is not going to happen while I'm in this life. so I have to kill this girl. So one day he took his daughter to outside the city, and he brought a rope so he can, hang her. Luckily, wallahi, the girl, she escaped from her dad, and she called the police. And when she called the police, the guy was put in jail for I don't know how many years, because he attempted murder, right? They killed him. And the girl, she went to the guy that she wanted, and the guy really, the only reason he became Muslim was because of her. He didn't care Islam. Important story. So inshallah, I can talk about this other issue. Maybe I can talk this other story some other time. But let me tell you, if you get it, because you told me that you have some here, no more hands, right? Nobody raise hands. So I'm giving you 4 important objectives that you must have in your marriage if you want to survive and if you don't want to have problems. If you did already married, take this advice from me. If you did not get married, inshallah, take that into consideration when you're getting married. If you do, wallahi, your children will be okay. You will be okay. You will save yourself from a lot of stress, right? And you, inshallah, will raise good children. But know these 4 things. Number 1, what are the objectives of getting married? If you ask that question, even to the people who, sometimes I give counseling for some people, right? But the first thing I ask, what are the objectives from this marriage? And rarely I discover people who know these objectives really. And when I tell them these are the 4 objectives, they tell me, okay, yeah, Sheikh, I have this problem with this point, right? But they don't know to start. So let me give you this, and then inshallah I'm going to end. Number 1, from marriage, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us you need 3 things from what we call second, what we say mawaddah, and what we say mercy. You see, I can explain those. I have no time for it. But what you need is contentment and tranquility, right? That's what it means, contentment and tranquility. If you have those 2, alhamdulillah, your marriage will be very successful. So that's one objective. So you have to get some contentment and some tranquility. Number 2, seriously, children. Raising children is very important objective. So the reason, what happened with that man is because he did not understand raising children. It's not just raising children, giving birth to children. It's taking care of these children. Especially in an environment like Canada, you have to spend a lot of time with your children if you want to save them. So second one. The third one is biological need. People, boys, girls, everybody needs biological need, right? Most of people, they get married because of biological need, right? So somebody tells me, okay, I told them, guys, if you can control yourself, you cannot take care of your wife, then if you cannot pay the bills. Yeah, and if you can control yourself, then you don't have to do it. Because what you need biologically is some human, that would be the need. And most of the marriage, take from me, I can't say most, but large part of the marriage right now has problem with this issue. And people cannot talk about it because they need it, but the girl cannot say, okay, this guy has some issue when it comes, and the boy cannot say. So they create problems. Instead of just making, maybe they have a little bit problem talking, maybe some stress issue, but they don't understand each other. So once you cannot fulfill the biological need of your wife or your husband, then you make all these other stories. Last one, social cohesion, what we call social cohesion. How social cohesion? Because this guy has wife has a family. So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us is, you have two people comes together, right? Your in-laws and your relatives. Your in-laws and your relatives are the guys who are going to create a community. What are some of the problems we have with the Muslim communities right now? These in-laws and these relatives have problems with each other, and this affects the marriage of their children. I don't care if this has mother, this has father. If they get along, the marriage where the in-laws and the relatives get along are the most successful marriages. The marriage that people have problems, right? The in-laws fighting with the other relatives, start with it. Next day they will have problems. But if the people know these really 4 objectives in this marriage, marriage will become success, and also they will raise good children. And those good children will love to get married because they say good thing from their marriage. But when they see father fighting with mother, father not home, mother fighting with her dad, then they're going to say, okay, I don't even want to get married. And all the guys who did not get married, even though they afford right, is because of the experience that they have, the marriage of their father and their mother. Make it short. Alhamdulillah, we have large brothers here who have not yet get married. Alhamdulillah, we have little sisters here. Sometimes somebody tells me, Sheikh, yeah, wallahi, I want to talk to you. What do you want from me? Wallahi, Sheikh, do you know good sister? I say, wallahi, I cannot testify for you. I cannot go to girls and tell them this is a good guy, right? You have to testify for yourself, prove yourself. Same sisters, inshallah. I think if I talk more, you're going to be leaving from this place, and I don't want you to do that. Jazakallah Khayran, inshallah. No translation, at least.